Today I simply put into words really I cannot ignore.
From Japan with real words.
Hello, welcome to my podcast. This is a podcast where I talk calmly about life struggles and family issues.
This isn't an explanation.
Quite heavy, feel the temperature of the words. Kurakinagis podcast.
Firstly, I try not to find a way to think about philosophy. I also thought about psychology, but I'm not a specialist, so I didn't feel confident. I wanted to talk this on podcast, so I try to find a way to think about philosophy, and I also thought about psychology, but I'm not a specialist, so I don't feel confident. I forget the reason, but I started studying English. I remember thinking that listening to philosophy podcast was a good idea. I remember thinking that listening to philosophy podcast was a good idea. That meant I didn't have to quit philosophy. That meant I didn't have to quit the philosophy. Because I tend to get obsessed. Someone suggests NHK radio to me, but I couldn't listen for long. Someone suggests NHK radio to me, but I couldn't listen for long. For a long time, I talked about this here on the podcast, and wondered if it was a failure. I talked about this here and wondered if it was a failure. But thinking about this itself isn't painful for me. So I think I don't need to worry about it. Thinking about it isn't painful for me. So she doesn't need to worry about it. About it. I also wondered why a show where one person talks about obscene things, terrible things, obscene things, has hundreds of thousands of views. I was even more surprised to hear that about 70 of the listeners are women. I wondered why a show where one person talk around about obscene things, but hundreds of thousands of this program has hundreds of thousands of viewers. I was even more surprised to hear that about 70% of the listeners were girls, were women. As I said, I was torn between English and Spanish. I thought about quitting language completely and felt relieved. But then I couldn't find anything to do. At one point, I thought about quitting language completely and felt relieved. But then I couldn't find anything to do. So I thought about studying language again. That made me feel safe, but also very hopeless. It felt like having two personalities. I felt hopeless. When I realized I might be able to talk about philosophy, my choice increased. That felt good, but also a little overwhelming. When I realized I might be able to talk about philosophy, my choice increased, so that felt really overwhelming. I told her, you don't need to change the phone brightness back, even though, but she changed the phone brightness back, even though I said like this. And I said, you know you made a mistake, but you though, it was okay, as long as no one noticed, right? She said, the situation is different from here on before. I said, firstly I said, you know you made a mistake. Maybe you thought it was okay as long as no one noticed. She said, the situation is different from before. I said, you don't need to change it back, but you did. That is a problem. She said, the situation is different from before, but I said, you don't need to change it back, but you did. That is a problem. She replied, I thought, you think it's okay to change it back, but also not okay not to. I felt the conversation didn't match. Later I realized she always she had done something I never expected. This happened often. She replied, I thought you think it's okay to change it back, but also okay not to. That was assumption. I never said that. I felt the conversation didn't match. She had done something I never expected. This happened often. Recently it happened. When I start noticing sensory sensitivity, it gets worse for a while. Yesterday I heard something on the radio and it stayed on my mind and my head. When I start noticing sensory sensitivity, it It gets worse for a while. Yesterday, I heard something on the radio. It stayed in my head. I started learning English because I thought it was cool. But my philosophy is this: if someone is genetically talented, that is impressive. Whether they choose to use it or not is another matter. If someone is genetically talented, that is impressive. That is impressive. Whether they choose to use it or not is another matter. Doing something you are not good at feels wrong to me. Doing something I'm not good at feels wrong to me. There are other things I wanna do. I started my podcast to talk about the struggle, but then I began to question that choice. I started my podcast to talk about struggles, but recently I began to question that choice. If I quit now, I will definitely regret it. If I quit now, I will definitely regret it. But with AI improving, I might think quitting was a right choice. With AI improving, I might rather think quitting was a right choice. I cannot say for sure that speaking English is increasing my audience. Next, people look for the right answer because it's reduced responsibility. People look for the right answer because it reduces responsibility. It feels less like I decided. I understand not wanting to regret things, but I don't wanna hide inside a group. It's wrong. Next, I heard about a ski jumper in a team event who couldn't compete because of an injury. I heard about a ski jumper in a team event at the Olympics. I heard about a ski jumper. He couldn't compete in the team event at the Olympics because of an injury, and he said, I didn't hope the team would. He hoped the team would lose. I was surprised because it felt exactly like me. I think this is a natural human reaction. At the Olympics, he hoped the team would lose. I was surprised because it felt exactly like me. I think this is natural human reaction. Natural human reaction. Thank you for listening. Please follow this program again.